Hello and welcome back. We're so glad you're here today. Come and join the Young Toddler group as we interact and play. My name is Tamika Reese and I'll be your guide through this virtual visit. In this visit, we'll go over the parent-child interaction, we'll talk about the family well-being, and we'll also discuss the develop-centered parenting. All right, let's get started. So to begin our visit, we're going to go over the welcome song. And so this song is to help your child get focused and prepare them for this learning activity, kind of let them know that it's time to kind of shift gears and get ready for the activity that we're going to do. So let's get started. So the song is Hello. So it goes, hello, 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 and how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. And then you'll insert whomever is in the visit. So you start with your child's name. My name is Miss Tamika, so I'm going to start with my name. So it's Miss Tamika's here, Miss Tamika's here. Hello, and how are you? I'm fine. I'm fine. And I hope that you are too. And then you can go to Mommy's here, Mommy's here. Hello, and how are you? You say, I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. So that'll be just the welcome song to help your child get focused and kind of start in them, like when they go get ready to transition into Head Start, you know how they start off their day with a circle time. So it's going to be like a song to welcome everyone in, and it's helping your child kind of get used to the routine of the order of doing activities. All right, thank you. Today's read aloud is Five Little Ducks. And remember, when we're reading to our child, we're going to go over the parts of the book. So we're going to talk about the front of the book, the spine of the book, and the back of the book. And then you can also talk about the words, how the words go from left to right. We read our words from left to right. So the name of this book is Five Little Ducks. Drop the book. Five little ducks went out one day to play over the hills and far away. Mama Duck called with a quack, quack, quack. No little ducks came swimming back. Five little ducks have a big surprise. Mama's birthday party they've devised. Each little duck plays a different part, so with a wink and a nod, they'll all depart. Susie begins the search for guests. Turtles and frogs are on the list. She hears her mama's familiar quack, but she's not ready to swim right back. Douglas dives deep into the lake gathering algae for mama's cake. He hears his mama's familiar quack, but he's not ready to swim right back. Patricia knows she must be swift as she paints her mama's perfect gift. She hears her mama's familiar quack, but she's not ready to swim right back. Barnaby blows up a party balloons and perfects his rendition of a birthday tune. He hears his mama's familiar quack, but he's not ready to swim right back. Fiona knows how to decorate. Lilies and daisies make the party great. She hears her mother's familiar quack, but she's not ready to swim right back. Mama Duck was in great dismay. She knew her ducklings wouldn't disobey. She calls again with a great big quack. The whole duck pond came swimming back. 5 ducks set out that day to plan a party for Mama's birthday. Mama kissed her ducklings 1 through 5 and thanked them for her big surprise. Oh, that was such a sweet story. The 5 little ducks giving their mamas a birthday party. So this week is a double visit. So that means we're going to have 2 parent-child interactions. So the first parent-child interaction is entitled Shadow Play. So with shadow play, you can do this with any age. So it'll be fun. Like if you want to add in your the other siblings to join in. And to do this activity, you're going to need the sun outside or a flashlight indoors. So you can either do it indoors or outdoors. Your favorite toy or household items that can block the light. And then you're going to need items that filter the light, such as colored cellophane, colanders, or tissue paper. So this is just like something thin, maybe that can filter the light, maybe the color of the light. So to do this with your child, let's see. A safety tip for this is when playing outdoors, please make sure you apply sunscreen and encourage your child to wear hats. Sunscreen is needed even on cloudy days. Doctor recommends sunscreen for children under older than 6 months. So we want to make sure we keep our kids safe from the sun. And so when we're doing this, the developmental learning, we're going to be talking about the cognitive. So your child is using their senses when they're learning about the light. They're feeling the warmth of the sun and the coolness of the shade. They see the bright and the dark of the shadows. And you as a parent, your parenting behavior when you're doing this activity is you're supporting your child's learning. Experiment with your child and talk to your child about what they feel, see, and experience. So you're supporting their learning and you're asking them questions, and you're kind of like helping them do that cause and effect, or just making them think about what's going to happen. What do they think is going to happen? What else can they do to get the effect that you want? So what you're going to do is when your child is playing outside, show your child their shadow. When you're playing indoors, you can shine the light behind your child and create one. Focus your child on watching the shadow move, finding other shadows. Discover which objects can light pass through and which ones can block the light. So you can see like which shadow objects can make the light go through. So maybe you can use like a colander, and it's going to let some of the light through, but not all the light. Or then you could put maybe like with a flashlight, you can put their favorite toy in front of it and see, is it going to go through or is it just going to create the whole shadow? Let's see. If you're outside, trace the shadow with chalk. So that'll be a good idea to extend the activity. Have your child they can trace each other's shadow on the sidewalk with chalk. You can trace they can trace your shadow and you can trace their shadow. Encourage your child to fill the chalk shadow with rocks or grass, or go out later in the day to observe the drawing. Is it still a shadow or what happened? So maybe like you can have them trace the shadow and everything, and then when you go outside, maybe because the sun's going to be in a different position, your shadow isn't going to be exactly where it was. So maybe they can kind of observe the difference of what happened to your shadow and why is it not in the same place. And the good thing, maybe this could be something you can do maybe like before bedtime. You can have your child with a flashlight, and then you can use your hand to make shadow puppets, and that might be a good way to just encourage your child to talk about the different shadows and why, when you have the light reflecting on the wall, why is it making those different shadows with their hands, or having them try to create different shadow puppets on the wall with the flashlight. So that's our first activity. And then our second activity is learning finger plays. So when we're talking about learning finger plays, you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need a copy, just some of your favorite finger plays, or some finger plays that you knew when you were a child. Maybe you could do like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or Five Little Monkeys, with some other ones. The Itsy Bitsy Spider. Those are just some finger plays that you can use. And then you can have maybe like a small paper bag, glue, and some scrap paper markers. So when you're doing this activity, you can focus on language development. So helping your child learn these different finger plays, it helps increase their language, and your child is learning about rhymes and stories, and as they are learning the finger plays. This is a literacy activity. So that's something you can have. Like that's just when you're doing this literacy with this activity. So what you can do, you face your child while reciting the finger play. Recite it again and slowly show your child the motions. So if you're doing the Itsy Bitsy Spider, so it's the Itsy Bitsy Spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. As you see, those those motions went along with the song, with the words of the song. So you're gonna let your child imitate you, and help your child if necessary. So if you need to do your hand, help them bring their hands up and move their fingers together. Then you can add different things like props, such as stuffed animals, hats, or other objects that are mentioned in the finger play. As your child repeats and learns the finger play, he can make the motions while you use the props. Or he can perform the finger play by mimicking each other motions. You and your child can make a paper bag puppet. So this is where the markers in the paper bag come in. They can make a paper bag puppet to let him play. Let him draw on the bag and glue paper decorations as he wish. And then you can glue, gluing and drawing, just to make a puppet or whatever for the spider. Maybe you can make the spider puppet, or if you do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, maybe you can make like a star puppet, so that maybe they can have the being able to make the puppet, so that when they're doing the finger play, they can have the puppet used to talk. So this is just your child's brain repeating the rhyme and acting it out over and over again reinforces connection in both language and motor area of your child's brain. So when you're doing this again and again, repetition, it helps with the your child's brain with connecting their motor and their language skills. Excuse me. So the parenting behavior for this activity is communicating. You're using inflections and pauses and highlighting the words that you're reinforcing. So if you're doing, what did the monkey do? They jumped off the bed. So that when you're talking about the rhyme or the finger play, you're going to use like different inflections or whatever on the word that you want them to focus on. So like when they said, what did the monkey do? You hear I said the monkey, or they jumped onto the bed. So with both these activities, on the back you can reflect on the back of the page, you can reflect on how you what you noticed about yourself, and also what you noticed about your child while you're doing these activities. So this week's Develops into Parenting is entitled, Your Child Loves to Play with Blocks. So playing with blocks has delighted children throughout the ages. And blocks should be a part of your child's play experience early and often. When babies begin to play with blocks, they are mostly interested in discovering what the solid square objects are. And they throw them up, they may pick them up, they may see how heavy they are, or they might try to hold them in one hand. Soon your toddler will make the exciting discovery that she can knock the blocks down and build a tower with them. What a feeling of power. Your child is ready to learn about blocks and discover the structures fall down. Your child may be able to stack lower towers, or one or two or three blocks. Around two, your child may be interested in stacking higher towers, and only um, they might line the blocks up from end to end. And this is investigating the properties of a straight line. So when your child is lining up things, the blocks lined up together, that's investigating the understanding how a straight line goes. So next, your child might turn into angling her blocks and lining the blocks up, or the toys. This is also an important pre-reading task, and it helps your child understanding the print letters and words arranged in lines. So that's how, when I was talking about earlier, you can talk to your child about reading words from left to right. When you're noticing your child lining up these blocks, it's kind of them understanding how the words are aligned in a straight line. And this is one of these pre-reading skills. Your child reading readiness skills are enhanced through what is called visual discrimination, which takes place when your child chooses what blocks to use based on what she has already built. As your child's third birthday comes near, your child may use blocks to represent other items. So your child may fill a bowl with the blocks and pretend that she's cooking foods. So this is another way. As they get older, they're going to use these blocks in different ways. So by the time they're third, they might be using them as different items. Maybe they could use them like a telephone, or like you're saying, they might put them in a bowl to pretend like they're cooking food. So your child might push the block along the floor and pretend that they're driving a car. Their intellect is developing and building, and they might pretend that the blocks are something else. Block play helps your child develop visual spatial skills, which which is figuring out the relationship between objects in spaces and noticing patterns in block structure. So your child may also begin to name her blocks, showing that that their building has purposes. So maybe they can say, "Oh, I'm building a grocery store," or "Oh, I'm building a zoo." So they might use the blocks to make the fence around the animals. So as your child get older, your child's building confidence and creativity may grow through blocks. From creating simple towers and constructing an entire city, your child may gain the sense of accomplishment and feeling they have that they're in control. So this is just understanding like the importance of your child playing with blocks and how it's going to develop as they grow older. So they might start off with just one in the beginning, just holding the block and feeling the weight of the block, or maybe trying to pick up more than one block at a time. And it's going to progress all the way down, all the way through as they get older to building a whole entire city with these blocks. So it's just important for you to offer this opportunity for your child to be able to explore and investigate and have the opportunity to use their imagination as they discover with blocks. So our family's well-being for this month, we're going to continue on with nutrition. We're going to talk about, do you know a picky eater? So a picky eater is when a child refuses food often or only wants the same food over and over. Many parents worry about their picky eater not getting enough nutrients to grow, but in most cases they are. In fact, 50% of parents think their children are picky eaters, but 95% of healthy babies and toddlers meet all their nutrient needs. So when you some causes of a picky eater, is going to tell you what some causes of the picky eater are, and then I'm going to tell you what you can try. So some kids are sensitive to taste and smell of food, and the way it feels in their mouth, maybe the texture of the food. So that maybe because of the way certain things feel in their mouth, they may not want to eat it. So something you can do is to offer healthy food choices among foods that they don't like with each meal. Gently, but frequently, often a child a new kind of food. Children need to be offered a new food at least 10 to 15 times before they will eat it. Talk to your child health care provider about any nutritional concerns that you're having. And so for a picky eater, some children are simply less likely to try new things based on their temperament. So it just depends on the temperament of your child if they're willing to try something new. So their individual way, that's just their individual way of approaching the world. So what you can do is put new foods next to a food your child really likes. Encourage your child to touch, smell, lick, or taste the new food. Try offering healthy dips such as yogurts or hummus or low carb salad dressing to encourage your child to eat their vegetables. So maybe you could do like ranch or like they were saying like a yogurt or something to help your child. Maybe that'll be a fun way for them to eat their vegetables or their fruits. Your child can seem picky because they only want to eat the foods that they can feed themselves. So some children just might like that independence and want to feed themselves. So what you can do is offer finger foods that your child can feed themselves, and offering a spoon that where your child can hold while they're feeding themselves and let them feel like they're in control. So some children are very active and they may seem to be picky eaters, but they really just don't like to sit for long periods of time. So you can set your child meal out before he sits down. Keep the mealtime short, maybe 10 minutes, so your child can get up when indicating that he's finished eating. Or you can put healthy foods such as a bowl of strawberries or bananas where your child can reach them so that they can, when they're feeling hungry, they can just go and grab a few strawberries or grapes or something. So having that healthy food accessible out for them. So the more they may not want to sit down for 20 minutes for a whole meal time, but you can offer them little small healthy treats on the table where they are accessible for them so that they can eat that as they go, because they might just have that active, their metabolism is high, or they might just have that active, they might be very active. So some children have medical issues that might make it difficult for them to swallow certain foods. So what you can do is seek an evaluation by a healthcare provider. Some children may need special help with feeding. So it just depends on your child. Maybe they have like some kind of special condition in their throat, or where they're not able to swallow all the food. So they may not just be a picky eater. It might be just something that they might have wrong with medically that they need to come get corrected. So that's just some things you can do. So these are just some signs of if you have a picky eater. These are some things that you can possibly do to help your child if they are picky, what you can do to kind of support them through this transition. I want to thank you for joining me on this video. Just a few announcements and reminder. Remember, we have our parent meeting on February 12th and our socialization on February 19th. If you haven't turned in any of your child's, your immunization updated shot records, or your dental forms, like if your child had a birthday or anything, it's very important for you to keep up with those forms and turn those into your home visitor so that we can stay in compliance. So to make sure that once your child has had a birthday or met one of those developmental milestones, that they go ahead and get those checkups done, and then you get that paperwork into your home visitor ASAP, as soon as possible. I just want to thank you for being here with me on this virtual visit, and you have a wonderful week.